Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for the final round of the three Sim Racing Nations event, and we are at Silverstone with the Bentley here. Currently Aesel on provisional pole with a 158.6 on an optimum track. Melvin not far behind, just 4/10ths off there in P2. Raceline Darren in P3, just 6/10ths behind. Masto Benz, who is one of the favourites here for RFF, currently sitting in P4, also 6/10ths off, matching lap times with Darren actually. They're P3 and P4, and then Soulfly in P5, 8/10ths off, and then Bruce Harper in P6, 9/10ths off. So the top six all within a second of each other at the moment. Lapria just a second off there. Kenny and P9 currently sat in the pits, 6.5 minutes left to go in this qualifying session, so he's probably putting on a fresh set of rubber just to go back out. But in these standings, it's fairly close, but currently for the SimZone we are sitting third here. Raceline currently sits on 409 points in P1. RFF Races for Fun sits in P2 on 356, and then the SimZone only 3 points behind RFF there on 353. So the battle for P1 is still on the cards, although it's going to be difficult. I think the main battle here is for second place in this championship between SimZone and RFF. With just 3 points in it, it's going to be down to the wire here. Master Benz now puts it up into P2. So only 2/10ths off there of Aesel's 158.5. Melvin seems to improve as well. I think currently 5/10ths off, but not enough to gain a position just yet. Now we did have Silverstone, of course, for the 4-hour event on PC just a couple of days ago. So I'm sure some of these console guys will be learning some of the lines that the PC drivers were taking, and some of the high areas where we've seen most of the overtakes. Most of them being into Village and the Loop in the 4-hour event. You can see here, I believe that's Melvin just letting some of the cars through and set himself up for another hot lap. Though he's still got a bit of a lap to go. Aesel improves there once more on a 158.512, not by a huge amount, but it was a few hundredths there, and a few hundredths can definitely mean he might stay on pole here. But it looks like we've got the number 27 car about to cross the line. I think, no, not the number 27, the 727. That would be Soydim there in P9. Is he going to improve? No, he hasn't improved. So currently staying in P9. We also have the number 13 car about to cross the line as well. Let's see who that is. Soulfly currently in P5 still. So now only the top 5 within a second. Bruce Harper sitting in P6 was also another quick driver for RFF. We saw him in the first round, P1 and P2 in qualifying with Masto Benz. But this time he seems to be struggling a bit more. He made a few errors in Barcelona as he goes off there, maybe invalidating the next lap. But yeah, his tyres aren't going to be thanking him for that by going on the grass whatsoever. We've got the 128 car as well about to come through the final corner. That is Doom. Yeah, just rounding the final corner now, using all of the track available. That's what you really need to be doing here at Silverstone. It's a very, very wide track. Yeah, currently sitting in P17, only 100th in front of Raceline Morcelia, who's currently in P18 here, so very close lap times between those two. But yeah, I don't think traffic is going to be a big problem here at Silverstone compared to the other two rounds, Barcelona and Misano. We saw so many drivers having to queue up behind each other to try and get some space, just find some space on track to be able to set a hot lap. But here, it's a much bigger track, much longer lap time, so there's more space for drivers to be able to lap freely without having to worry about catching up to anyone. So that's going to benefit everyone, really. But at the moment, we look back to the top four. They're still as it were. Actually, Darren improves up into P2 now, so Darren looking good for starting on the front row here with Asil. But there's still a minute and a half, or just under that, for them to improve their times here. You've got the 118 car, the Devil Son, who made an unexpected feature tonight. He was had to come in last minute, but he's doing good in this qualifying session at the moment, sitting P20. Let's see if he can improve as he crosses the line. No improvement there, but this will be his last chance to get any more time out of the car here, extract any tenths he can as he comes through Magnus Beckett's, using all of the curb there. Exactly what you need to be doing, but he's missed the curb ever so slightly coming through Beckett's, and he's off there. That's going to be an invalid lap, and that's pretty much, I think, his qualifying session over. Yep, he's going to pull to the side there. Soulfly still on a lap. He's coming through the loop now. Melvin in the pits, so that's just a bug showing us he's not actually sat in there. Let's look further down the field. Windsor currently in P28, Paul Moore in P29, P27, sorry, and Lord Perth in P26. Squid in P25, Matinero in P24. We've got a few cars coming across the line now, a few on invalid laps as well. We've got the 972 car. That is Path, currently sitting in P23, 2.2 seconds off. You can see there, yep, I thought he was going to enter the pits there. And a few more drivers following in suit, Morcelia being one of them in front, actually. So yeah, quite a few drivers entering the pits now. Acel's still on track. Darren did improve, but he's in the pits now. That's his qualifying session over. Only 0.16 tenths there, separating the top two. And we've got car 21 out on track, approaching the final few corners now. Ruby Thumb. See, they're going for a late apex, using not as much curb on the exit as I thought he would. But he's going to cross the line. Any improvement from Ruby Thumb? Yes, he jumps up to P12 there. You can see he only gained a couple tenths, but it's jumped him up 3 positions. Just shows you how close this mid-pack is in this qualifying session. But obviously, from judging from last time out, qualifying did not mean much. We saw some drivers in the mid-pack jumping right up to the top. But that is your qualifying session over. So Acel on pole with a 158.5. Darren in P2 on the front row as well. Just a tenth back. Master Benz in on the second row. Just 2 tenths back there in P3. And Melvin rounding off the top 2 rows there in P4. We'll be back very shortly for the start of the race, so make sure to stay tuned. Alright, so the drivers now lining up side by side, getting ready for the race start. We're going to have Asil and Darren on the front row. It's going to be quite difficult to get through turn 1 here, especially with a lot on the line in this mini event or mini championship, whatever you'd like to call it. Yeah, a lot of RFF drivers on the front. You can see all of them on the right hand side actually of the track. Melvin in P4, looking a bit lonely up there for the SimZone drivers. But oh, we've got someone lagging there. I think that might be Darren. Let's hope he stays connected. But we're about to get going very, very shortly. And we should be green. There we go. Aso off to a good start. Master bends in the background, pulls to the inside. He's going to... thought he was going to overtake his teammate there. Wouldn't have been the smartest thing to do at all off the start. But maybe he's just defending his position from those behind him. And Aso... I think that's Darren really lagging here. But somehow... he is teleported well into the lead. So not sure what's happened there. To Darren, unless I missed that, but he's well in the lead at the moment. So Asil down into P2, Master Benz in P3. This is going to switch around for a bit. We'll wait for it to do that, but that looks like Soulfly having to defend from Melvin. Melvin dropping down a few positions off the start, but he's going to look to the inside here into Vale. Is he going to get the move done? No, he's not. He's on the outside, but he looks to get a switch back. He's going to have to go defensive because Bruce Harper's right behind him, and Lager now having to defend that position as well. Two drivers going side by side in the background. That's Lepria and I think Bibsy. Is it Bibsy? No, it's not. That's Morcelia actually. Who's on the inside defending from the Lepria currently. Lepria trying to find a way around. He's looking left and right, but he has to be careful. Bibsy very close behind. He's having to go defensive now because he's got Soidim, Kenny, Ruby Farm all behind him. Kenny lunges down the inside there, has to back out of the move, but he looks like he's got into Soidim's head here. He's keeping on the pressure and almost forced the 77 car into a mistake, but he's got a good run coming down the Wellington Straight, and he's going to look for a move down the inside, but looks to be a bit too far back for the moment. Yeah, very clean opening lap, I believe, off the start. Looks like, however, Epricol is down towards the back. He doesn't have any damage. Oh, he does actually have a bit of damage on the front end there. Path down in P26, also carrying a slight bit of damage, but everyone else, Squid as well with a bit of damage. But looks like the SimZone drivers have moved up quite far up the order. Lord Perth up into P18 already after starting pretty much towards the back of the grid. The Devilstone into P16. Priya in P9 currently. Still behind Morcelia. You can see the car just bouncing on the exit of Beckett's there. Yeah, Morcelia holding the prayer off for now. This could form into a bit of a train. We've actually got a train up front here. Bruce Harper, followed by Melvin and Soulfly. Two of the RFF drivers working together to try and get past Melvin, but they've got SimZone. For the SimZone, we've got Lager in the background here also catching up, so it's going to be a bit of a tag team here for SimZone and RFF. And it looks like also Lepria in the background in P9 catching up. But yeah, the pack still very, very close together. And it looks like we've got someone off the number 29 car. That's Paul Moy there. I think he lost the car coming through Stowe. So he either lost that himself. I think he did lose it himself. He doesn't seem to be near anyone. Or didn't seem to be near anyone when the yellow flags appeared on track. But if you look at the track map currently, it's very jam-packed from I think 7 all the way down to P16, P17. So yeah, still a lot of battles to be had here. It's only early on in the race, so I wouldn't really be expecting many of the drivers to be going full steam ahead just yet. But it looks like Asil has got P1 there. Darren down into P3. He's really suffering with some connection issues, is Darren. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to stay connected here at this rate. He's in the ground, and I think that that's either a game crash or he has lost connection. That's unfortunate for Darren, because I don't think he'll be able to join back, unfortunately. That's a real shame for Raceline. They're going to lose a lot of points here. Hooschii saying, is it me talking? Yes, it is. I got a new microphone. Yeah, that's why. That's why it sounds much better. Andrew in the comments saying, my Lord doing well. Lord Pilth, yes. He definitely is. He's still quite high up the order. Where is he? In fact, I can't find his name now. Oh, he's back down to P24, so he's either lost quite a few positions via a mistake, or he's just been overtaken. I know he's been lapping in the 2 minutes in qualifying, but you can see they're not using the full width of the track. So maybe struggling in the first half of this race. Now looking further up, battle for P16 still continues. Carmelo and Akart here, P16, P17. I believe they are on the same team, so they won't really be battling with each other. Likewise is Doom. So all these three Bentleys, well, they're all Bentleys, but P16, 17, 18 will be working together to try and catch up to the rest of the pack, but they have Butch Coco closing in on them, so maybe they're not really working together as much as they should be. And yeah, Butch is really closing in this gap now. 1.2 seconds. It looks to be slightly less than that as they cross the line. 1.1 now. Yeah, he's closed it in by just a tenth. But still early doors. Windsor in P20, so he's still moved up a fair few positions, has Windsor. And Squid behind him, only 6 tenths as they come through Maggots and Beckett's now. Windsor looking good though to hold on to a top 20 finish. As we go back to the race lead, Asil holding on, and yes, we did lose Darren, so we are down to 26 drivers. Actually, we lost a couple drivers there. We had 28, so we lost 2 drivers there. But that just leaves RFF to work together and pull away from the rest of the pack. They've already got a 6-7 second lead to Soulfly in P3, who is also an RFF driver, but it looks like he's dropped further back, and there we go, it's now updated for us. He's down into P8, so that puts Bruce Harper, which is also another RFF driver, up into P3, so 10 seconds back now. But he's got quite a train behind him. Melvin has dropped down to P9 as well, so I think there may have been a bit of an incident between them, although I don't see any damage. Actually, no, there is damage on the rear of Melvin's Bentley then. And he's just lost another position, I think, to... is that Ruby? No, it's not. Is that Soulfly? No. Melvin's been able to hold on the exit there. Soulfly running slightly wide, so Melvin was able to get the inside line. But look at this train. It's Melvin, followed by Soulfly, then Ruby Farm, then Matinero, then Ido, who's run really wide there on the exit of turn 1, and he looks to be going quite slow, coming up towards Maggots and Beckett, so I think he had a bit of oversteer and managed to save the car, luckily. But the Devil Son on the back of... No, he's not on the back of Ido, he's now on the back of Matinero, so the Devil Son moving up the order here, and he's got a great run down the Hangar Straight. He's going to stay in the slipstream. He looks towards the inside. He's found space there. Matinero is not going to give him much room, but he pulls back over to the racing line. The Devil Son is going to be... He tried to be late in the brakes there, but couldn't quite get the move done just yet. Is he going to try it coming into Vale? He's on the outside here. He needs to go for maybe the outside line to get the inside for the next part, but no, he backs out of that. And just waiting patiently here, which is probably the best thing to do, but he's poking his nose up the inside every now and then, just to test the limits of Matinero and see where his weaknesses are. Yeah, Melvin, I think, definitely had a bit of a collision. You can see he's got a bit of damage on the rear, no damage on the front from what I can see. It may have been rear-ended, possibly by Soulfly, I'm not too sure. But then again, it doesn't look like Soulfly has any damage on the rear. And oh, bit of contact there between Soulfly and Ruby Farm. That could have ended much worse. But luckily, I think Ruby Farm backed out of that slightly. And a very good save from Soulfly. But they've got Matinero and now the Devil's Son. And I think that's Ido as well who have caught up. So for the raceline drivers, they're going to be under some serious pressure now as we're on to the 5th lap here. But back to the battle for P3. Lapria up into P4 after starting further down the grid, and he's challenging Bruce Harper here for this final podium position. You can see they're using all of the curb available. But it's not going to be easy for Lapria at all. He's got Bibsy behind him, another RFF driver. Soydem still within a few tenths to these two in front as well. Kenny is behind though. Kenny's made a flying start to this race, already up into P7. And I'm sure he'll be looking to try and catch up to Soydem to help out Lapria a bit. Keep the pressure on to those two behind Lapria. You can see in the background as well, Melvin there recovering from a possible incident. Andrew's saying, wow, them 28 Bentleys make some noise. Yeah, they are quite loud, aren't they? And yeah, Lager dropped back as well, down into P13. Actually not sure what happened there. Paul Moy now into the pits. What's happened to Paul Moy? He's sat in the pits here. Doesn't look like he's got much damage. He's been dropped off the jacks, and I actually think he's repaired the damage. He probably had some more on the front there that we didn't quite see. That means he's going to have to make an extra pit stop here. And it looks like Lapria made a slight mistake. He's dropped back a bit more to Bruce Harper. The gap now 1.2 seconds. It was 0.8, and now Lapria slowly falling into the clutches of Bibsy. The gap between these two says 6 tenths. It looks to be a bit less now as they come through Maggots and Beckett. But I think if Lapria does start struggling for pace, he could probably back these two up into each other, make them fight, and then try and pull away once more. But he seemed to get a horrible exit there out of Maggots and Beckett's, and look at this, Bibsy really closing in using the slipstream. I don't think he's going to be close enough at the end of the straight, and no, goes very late on the brakes there, slightly wide. And Lapria is going to hold on, but what an exit from Bibsy. He's going to look to the inside. He's going to be later on the brakes. He tried the move. Lapria gave him the room, but yes, it's not going to be enough to get past Lapria and the number 46 car there. And now you can see, I think Lapria's best option at the moment is to back them up into Kenny and Melvin to allow them to get past here. That seems to be what he's doing at the moment, but of course without losing too much time to Bruce Harper ahead. He doesn't want to be too slow, because then that puts him at even more of a risk of being overtaken. But yeah, the gap between Kenny and Soydem definitely coming down. It's down to 1 second. Looks to be less now. as they enter the final few corners. But I think that's Bibsy. Oh, with a huge mistake, he's onto the grass there, and that's going to allow Soidem right round the outside there, and gaining P5. That's given Aprilia some breathing room, some time to relax and focus on his lap times now, and that will also allow Kenny and Melvin once again to catch up to these two. They're only 6-7 tenths to Bibsy now, so this could be good. Kenny, there might be some team orders here. Kenny might have to let Melvin through. Melvin seems to be lapping quicker at the moment, so they might try and slingshot each other down the hangar straight. No, Melvin didn't seem like he had a good exit. Huge slide there from Kenny. I think way too late in the brakes, but he caught that very nicely. And that's one way of giving Melvin the position. I think that is Lager. Is that Lager off? No, it wasn't Lager off. It was probably Paul Moy. I think it was, yeah. So Paul Moy there really struggling at the moment. But let's have a look at the top two. They are long gone from the rest of the field. I think it's going to be a Sunday drive for these two, unless they make a mistake with track limits or they bin it into the wall somewhere. But if not, I think it's going to be quite an easy race for these two. And in fact, same could be said about Bruce Harper. Top three, RFF. Past two rounds, we've had a driver from each community in the top three, but this final round at Silverstone, it's not looking likely. So we've actually lost Ifan as well from the SimZone team. Looks like he lost connection. And of course, there is no mid-session join here, so you can't join back. So that's a real shame. That's part and parcel of sim racing, I guess. Now Bibsy using the slipstream here to look towards the outside, maybe go for an undercut. He's going to be pretty much on the same time, on the brakes at the same time as Soidem was, so it's not going to help him to get the undercut, and of course he wasn't able to do so. But now Melvin is going to have to try and close this gap. It says 1.6 seconds, I think it's much less than that. Actually, no. It might be about a second between these two. Across the next sector line as they come through the loop, so we'll find out then. But while we wait for that, we've got another three-car battle going on here. Matinero followed by Ido, then Lager, and yes, the gap is a second from Melvin to Bibsy. No idea how I guessed that, but we'll just say it's magic. I've got special powers. But anyways, Matinero holding on to P11, followed by Ido, then Lager. Lager didn't have the best starts at all. He's dropped down a number of positions. I believe he was within the top 10 in qualifying. So he seems to be struggling a lot more in the race at the moment. He has got a bit of damage on the rear as well, but he's definitely keeping up with these two, and he's just going to wait in the wings and try to capitalize on any mistakes they might possibly make, especially with the two in front being on different teams, Raceline and RFF. They'll be battling hard, try and defend or gain positions here. You can see varying lines through Maggots and Beckett's. Ido with not the best exit whatsoever, so Lager has a very good opportunity here to try and get this move done coming into Stowe, although he's still a bit too far back, he looks to the inside line, but yeah, has to back out of that. But he's showing himself in the rearview mirrors here of Ido, and possibly trying to force him into an error by just doing a few dummies like he did earlier into Stowe. It could work, but at the moment, Ido is unfazed. And he holds on to P12, but they are losing time by battling to Matinero. The gap's now 5 tenths between those two. Go back to Soiden, Bibsy and Melvin, who's now within a second to these two. Kenny dropping off slightly, but he's got no one to worry about just yet. Soulfly was, yeah, about 4 seconds back, so he's in a comfortable position at the moment. And I think as long as he laps consistently, he should be okay. Pit window is now open. So will we see anyone dive into the pits straight away? Looks like Paul is in the pits. I think he's been in there for quite a while, so no, this pit stop won't quite count. Melvin now into the pits for his mandatory stop, the first one to pull the trigger. And he might be trying to go for an undercut. He's probably going to repair that damage he has. He didn't have the same pace at the start compared to when he got the damage, so it's definitely hindering him in some way. Now Lager, there was some Morcelia. We've got quite a few drivers now coming into the pits for their mandatory stop. Oh, Piroth currently lapping in no man's land. He's not really got anyone near him at the moment, but of course he is still yet to pit, so after his pit stop he might come out next to some more cars. But he's going to have to focus on putting in the lap times to try and keep in front of Path, although it's quite a big gap to Path. You never know, racing can always throw some drama up into the air. But looking at this battle for P10, nope, it's just updated there. Did say a 10th, but it's 7 tenths now. But these two are on the same team, so they won't be battling. But Ido, Matinero, Butch Coco all catching up, and in fact, Soidim and Bibsy have gapped out slightly. They were within a few tenths of each other, and that might not be good for Melvin. He's going to want these two to battle so he can get the undercut done. But of course, if Melvin's repaired his damage, which I believe he has, it already puts him at a disadvantage, unless of course he can make that time up by lapping quicker before they serve their mandatory stops. But yeah, the deltas are now updated. Butch Coco's only 3 seconds behind these two, so it doesn't look like he'll be catching up within the next few laps. Dupree is still a second back to Bruce Harper. We've got a stop-go 30 for someone speeding in the pits. It's Paul Moy. Oh no, Paul has been speeding the pits and he's got to do 2 more stops. He's got to serve his stop-go 30 and then he's got to do his mandatory pit stop as well. So it's been a nightmare race for Paul Moy, but of course I believe he's going to take it to the end here to at least pick up some points. Yeah, what a shame. Poor Paul. Although I don't think it's going to make a difference at this point. He is already 3 laps down to Peppercorn, who's already served his mandatory pit stop. So, yeah, I think Paul's just going to focus on finishing the race now. And picking up some points for the SimZone. Doom and Kart still working together to pull away from Butch Coke, and it seems to be working. The gap's now 3.2 seconds back to the 61 car there. It looks to be much more than 3 seconds, in fact. So has Butch made a mistake somewhere on the last lap? It's definitely possible. He's still carrying that damage he had from the start. And the Priya still keeping that gap to Bruce Harper at about a second, although he did run wide there. He needs to be careful with the track limits, because he did end up picking a drive-through penalty last time out at Misano. But let's hope it was a no time gained there for Priya. And that's Paul still with the stop go 30. He's got 2 more laps to come in and serve that stop. The Devil Sun now catching up to Matinera. The gap a second between these two. Andrew in the comments saying, "Come on, Echo Man," referring to the Priya there. But Priya has lost a bit of time that last lap. 1.8 seconds now, pardon me, to Bruce Harper. Oh, he's definitely made a mistake. But they've still got their pit stops to go, so I don't think Priya is going to be focusing on that. And I think for Priya, he's going to try and do the opposite to Bruce Harper. If Bruce Harper pits, I'm sure he's going to come out in traffic. So if I were Priya, I'd stay out for as long as possible and be in clean air for as long as possible. And he might even have a chance at getting the undercut, or the overcut, sorry, on Bruce Harper. Now back to this battle for P21. The Devil Sun now within a few tenths of Matinera. The last time we checked it was about a second. So the Devil Sun putting in the laps here. And he seems to be taking a better line through the final few corners. You can see there, much better exit. A huge mistake for Matinero. He had a bit of oversteer on the exit, and the Devil Sun's going to look to the inside coming up towards turn 1. Can he be later on the brakes? It's going to be a bit of a hairy moment here as we come into turn 1. They've left each other enough room, and they are still side by side coming up towards Magnus and Beckett. Someone's going to have to back out. I think the Devil Sun's slightly ahead here, and no, he's not. He was slightly behind. So Matinero obviously had the optimal line, and oh, the Devil Sun with a bit of oversteer there, but he held it together, and he's definitely going to give this another shot. So Windsor now in the pits, Squid into the pits, no, Squid exiting the pits now. And a Pormo in there to serve his stop go 30. Ruby Thumb pulling the trigger there with about halfway, 11 minutes of the pit window to go. So it is a 20-minute pit window in total. Almost halfway there. And we've still got the top 14 to serve their mandatory stop, and Paul Moy excluded, sorry. So 15, including Paul Moy. But a Kart, Stefan, and Ruby Thumb all in the pits now. The Prius closed that gap as well to Bruce Harper. It was 1.8 after a mistake. It's now down to 1.3. So I definitely think if Lapria can time his stop perfectly here to not come out in traffic. He could go for an undercut, or he could let Bruce Harper pit first and go for an overcut. Although I think for the Priya, the undercut's going to work better here. Much better, in fact. So we are now halfway as well, so if he is confident, he'd pit this lap and put on a fresh set of rubber, possibly. And that way, when Bruce Harper does pit, he's going to be on colder tyres to Lapria. And Lapria, oh, looks like Bruce Harper into the pit, so Lapria's going to keep it out on track, so he's doing the opposite here, which is what I expected. And Lapria obviously now in clean air. This means he can focus on putting in some good laps to try and get this undercut done. Remember, there's only a few tenths separating them as Bruce Harper went into the pits, and Lapria seems to have another SimZone driver in front, so that's not going to be a problem in terms of traffic. They'll let Lapria through with ease, and maybe even give Lapria a bit of a slipstream to help him get this overcut done. Looking further down now, DevilSun has lost a bit of time due to his mistake in Maggots and Beckett's the previous lap, and he's now got a kart. No, a kart in front of the DevilSun now, so DevilSun's made another mistake somewhere on track, and a kart is now up into P17, DevilSun down into P18. Stefan with a stop-go 30. Ido, his teammate, in front of him in P19. That will update very shortly. But Stefan's going to drop right down the order then. He's probably going to drop down to P24, P25 even, after that stop-go 30. So some of the raceline drivers and SimZone drivers going to gain some positions as a result. However, after DevilSun's mistake, he's been catching back up to a kart. Stefan now into the pits for a stop-go 30, and what a stellar exit there from the DevilSun out of Beckett's. He's going to use a slipstream, but once again, not close enough. He did catch up on the exit, but it's just not long enough of a straight to get that move done into Stowe. Could he go for a late lunge down the inside? No, a kart going defensive here. That's going to give the DevilSun the better exit speed. Is he going to try to go for a switchback? No, he's not. He's going to wait patiently once again. But Silverstone, a great track for racing. There's so many places to overtake. Obviously, this not really being one of them. It's not a braking zone. But I'm towards Village. It's a very, very heavy braking zone here. The DevilSun looking to the outside. A kart going defensive once more. That set him up horribly for the next corner of the loop. The DevilSun looking for a switchback. He's got a better exit now down towards the Wellington Straight. He's going to have much more straight line speed. Now he's in the slipstream, looking towards the inside, trying for a bit of a dummy here, looking late towards the inside, but no, still wasn't enough. So a kart doing a great job of defending here, but for how long can he hold on? The DevilSun is breathing down his neck, looking for a way past, and I think it's just a matter of time before he's able to get past here. You can see they're using a lot more of the track as the DevilSun. Turn one, also a risky place for an overtake. It just seems that the DevilSun has better exit speed, but at the moment, with the kart defending the way he is, the DevilSun just can't find a way past. A bit of grass cutting there for a kart. DevilSun with another slide through Mags and Beckett's, that's not going to help him whatsoever. He's going to have to do that work all over again to catch up to a kart. So the gap's probably about a second between these two now. Yeah, there we go, 1.1 seconds between a kart and the Devil's Son. We go back up to Lager here. Looks like Kenny has let Lager through, so some team tactics going on between them. Lapria has got past Bruce Harper, so that will be P3 for Lapria now that Soulfly is pitted. But Bruce Harper looking towards the inside. No, bit of a dummy. It's not going to phase Lapria. And yeah, the overcut worked really well in Lapria's favour. But it's not going to be an easy battle. These two are very, very similar in pace. But towards the end of the first stint, Lapria was lapping quicker. And he's going to have to try and do that in this second stint. Now 24 minutes left to go. Bruce Harper carrying some damage on the front splitter. You can see he's struggling to get the car turned in at the moment. And for Lapria, I think his car is in pristine condition, so no damage whatsoever on the 46 Bentley there. And it does look like Bruce Harper is struggling with some understeer through Mags and Beckett's. He's not even using the outside curb there, so possibly had to get the car slowed down massively to get it turned in. And now we look back to Melvin and Bibsy. Melvin's got a bit of a challenge here down in P7 with Bibsy hot on his tail, but not close enough just yet to go for a move. Melvin there, you can see trailing the brakes. Trying to now gap Bibsy. Right, it seems to be working. He's pulling away ever so slightly. Currently shows 3/10. Yeah, it's way more than 3/10 at the moment. The top two still obviously working as a team. Lapria now pulling away from Bruce Harper as well. Seems to be a mistake. Who is that from? Not one of the race leaders. It's one of the RFF drivers, however. Also with pink wheels. Or pink rims. I'm not sure who that was. They were all over the grass there. Now Bruce Harper's closed in slightly once again. Gap as they cross the line is 5/10. Lapria is holding his ground here. He's not, well, from what it looks as a spectator, it doesn't look like he's feeling the pressure, but who knows what's going under that helmet. And he could be sweating right now for all we know, but yeah, you can see with the way he's driving, he seems to be quite calm. He's not really going extremely defensive or making any taking any last minute defensive lines, so he's confident that he can hold Bruce Harper back. So keep an eye on these two. Doom, Morcilia and Matinera all in our race line here, so once again working together, and they don't really have anyone near them. Ruby Farm is also another race line driver. The nearest car to them is a kart who's 4 seconds back, but he won't be worrying about who's ahead of him. He's got the Devil's Son still right behind him, although Devil's Son is losing a bit of time now. Oh no, he's gained some. It was 1.6 down to 1.2. Now that mistake a few laps prior would not have been nice on the Devil's Son's tyres whatsoever. He would have had to drive a bit more conservatively, try and get the temps down. But it looks like it seems to be settled down once again, so he's definitely closing in that gap. It's less than a second now between the two. DeVilson back into the groove. I believe everyone has pitted. The pit window is about to close, so it's not going to be a problem for anyone on the track. Andrew Price in the comments saying 4 SimZone drivers in the top 10. Yeah, so it's seems to be some good points here for SimZone, but against RFF it's not going to be easy. 2 RFF drivers still in the top 2, P1 and P2, but Lapria obviously overtaking Bruce Harper, what would have been 3 RFF drivers in the top 3. Now Lapria into P3, breaking that chain, but he still has Bruce Harper behind him. So it's not going to be easy, but he seems to be holding him off well at the moment. Bruce Harper looking towards the inside there, he's keeping on the pressure. And all Lapria needs to do, well, I say all he needs to do, it's not easy to keep Bruce Harper behind. Bruce Harper is a very, very quick driver, as we've seen from the past 2 rounds. But Lapria showing his pace here in this race. The last 2 rounds it's been Melvin, who's currently in P6, but the last 2 rounds it's been him on P3, taking the podiums for the SimZone. But this time it looks like it's going to be Lapria, and I don't want to curse him. I don't think I will. I think Lapria's got this, to be honest. But yeah, he's just managing that gap. I don't think he's pushing too hard. Although he's run slightly wide there on the exit, he should be okay with track limits anyways. Lager and Melvin still within a second of each other, still on the same team, so nothing's changed there. Although they have Soulfly 2.7 seconds behind, I'm not sure if he's catching at the moment. And with them 2 working together, I hope he won't be catching. Although I tried to remain unbiased as possible. No, I'm joking. Of course we're supporting the SimZone. We've got to get everyone a bit of screen time. So Stefan down into P25 after his stop-go 30. Pormo still in P26, lapping on his own at the moment. Peperico in P24, only 2 seconds behind Windsor. So Windsor's got to keep Peperico behind here. Now Peperico, I think, had a lot more pace last time at Misano. So it's quite odd to see him down in P24. The gap is now under a second. Windsor's got a lot to deal with at the moment, but there's no pit stops to worry about. All he needs to do is keep Peperico behind, who's closing another 5 tenths here. Peperico on a mission at the moment to get past. And for Windsor, it's not looking good at the moment. But Windsor's still a very, very good driver. And he looks to have gained some time there through Mags and Beckett's. So he's keeping Peperico at bay. And go back up to Lapria and Bruce Harper. The gap's still 5 tenths between these two. I think if Lapria can somehow manage to get this gap to about a second, he should feel a bit more comfortable as we get towards the end of this race. And the flickering here going on with the camera is not ideal, but let's hope they fix the spectator cam within the next update. Who knows when that will be. But we also don't have onboard cams on the PS5, so it's not great. So we have to stick to trackside. We'll make do with what we have. Bruce Harper through Village seems to be a lot quicker, much later in the brakes than Lepria is. So maybe Lepria using second gear, Bruce Harper using first to get that engine, the extra engine braking for him to brake later here. And he's again with a dummy. It's not going to phase Lepria whatsoever. He's going to stick to his normal racing line, and they do have, I believe that's Windsor and Peppercold just ahead. So this could work well for the SimZone. Windsor obviously teamed up with Lepria in P3, and it could give Lepria a bit of an advantage here. It could even give Windsor a bit of an advantage to try and gap Peppercold. But we can only speculate. We're going to have to see what sort of team orders go on here. Flashing lights there from Lepria, maybe warning. He's either saying hi to us on stream, or he's warning the guys in front. He's coming to lap them. Peppercold very wide there, and actually Lepria opening up the gap to Bruce Harper. It's nearly a second now, and he's really going to need to get past with there we go, with Peppercold moving out the way. It's given Windsor a bit of breathing room, and likewise Lepria's got some more breathing room here, so it's worked out for the both of them. And they're going to have to time this correctly now. Windsor's going to have to move out the way. No! Windsor with a bit of oversteer. I think he got onto the curb, and that's some heavy damage there on the front of Windsor's car. I'm not sure how he lost it there. It's quite odd to lose the car there, but he either got onto the curb or onto the grass. And he's going to be losing a number of positions. I think Stefan's going to get past, and it's pretty much, yeah, Windsor's returned the car to the pits. And just 13 minutes left of the race to go. One slight mistake and he's lost the car. It's really unfortunate for Windsor. He's having such a good race there. But that leaves Lepria and Bruce Harper once again with no traffic to battle it out on track. But Lepria is pulling away now. The gap's still 8/10 between these two. And like I said, if Lepria is able to get that gap to about a second, I think he'll be able to maintain that and hold on to P3 here. Now looking back down to P8 and P9, Kenny and Lager not catching up to Bibsy whatsoever. Still 4 seconds, but Soulfly's closed in by about a couple tenths here, with the gap down to 1.8 now. So they're going to have to be careful, because Soulfly is still there, and he's not far away at all. Morcilia and the Devil Sun as well, battling it out on track. Morcilia not having the best of races. The Devil Sun looking to the outside. He tried this on a kart, but a kart there just in front, and he's going to do it actually. The Devil Sun has got the move done, but no, he gets onto the grass and loses the car. So that's the Devil Sun round as well, and he's really been struggling through Maggots and Beckett's. I think carrying a bit too much speed there, and I think has he lost the position? Yep, he has. He's lost the position to Butch Coco as well, so down to P17 for the Devil Sun. And his tyres, they're going to be screaming at him at the moment, but he should. I think he's going to have some flat spots there as well. But he hasn't lost much time to Butch Coco, so he could still get P16 back. As we look down towards Carmelo and Paf, Paf in P21, just 3 tenths behind. Paf looking for a way past. He's going to have to get this move done soon because time is running out. We're into the final, or nearly into the final 10 minutes of the race. So Paf is going to have to keep on this pressure to try and get past Carmelo, but he's lost a bit of time there, a few tenths as we come up towards Village. Now, if you are watching, make sure to give the stream a big thumbs up. And oh, Carmelo very sideways there. Likewise was Paf. They managed to both hold it together. I think they're pushing the car to the limit at the moment. And they have actually caught up to Lord Piroth here, so it's going to be a 3-car battle for P19. And Lord Piroth is going to have to do everything he can to hold these two back. That's Carmelo going defensive. Paf looking to the outside here. We saw the Devil Son do a similar thing. He got all over the grass. And Carmelo now onto the grass. He's going to have to take the escape road. Rejoins back in front. That's going to be a bit of an interesting one, I think, for the stewards, maybe. But it doesn't look like he gained time there, so it might be okay. Paf still behind. He's going to look towards the inside. Looked like Carmelo nearly lost the rear end there. And he's lost it now, but he's managed to save it. That could have been a really bad snap of oversteer. But he caught it just in time. And Lord Piroth is going to be wanting them to continue battling and make mistakes like that. It's not going to be easy to hold them off. They also have... Is that Squid? No, it's not. I think that might be someone coming to lap them. Could be Acel. Yes, it is. So the race leader coming to put a lap on them. Now Windsor back on track after repairing his damage. That would have been... No, he hasn't repaired his damage. So has he forgot to? Or has he picked up... Or has he repaired his damage and picked up even more? I think he's picked up even more after repairing it. So Windsor really struggling at the moment now. I think he's lost the groove after that accident. And now let's go back to P3. So the Priya holding on to Bruce Harper. Just 7 more minutes left to go. Oh, the gap's 1.4 seconds. So, Bruce Harper's made a mistake somewhere, and Lapria's found a lot of time there. So it's looking more and more convincing that Lapria will be finishing in P3. Now we look over to Lager and Kenny. They are catching up to Bibsy now. 2.5 seconds. There's not much time left in the race. They're going to have to really close into Bibsy if they want to get a move done here. And they're going to have to get a move on because Soulfly is now just 1.6 seconds back to them. And it looks to be less, now down to 1 second, so they're going to have to do some defending shortly. Maybe Kenny's going to have to try and keep Soulfly behind while Lager tries to catch and hunt down Bibsy. Or they're going to have to try and work together to keep Soulfly behind. And not focus on Bibsy, but it's going to be a very close call, I think, once we get towards the last couple of minutes. Now Lord Proth still holding onto this position, but he's run slightly wide, and that allows Carmelo to look towards the inside. He's going to have to back out of that. There's not enough space. Lord Proth is going to leave him the room. He's still on the track though, and looks like he's going to be able to hold onto this position because Paf now looking towards the... Sorry, no, that's not Paf, that's Asul, the race leader, now trying to get past. So Paf has lost a lot of time to these two. But there we go. That is Carmelo moving out the way. And Lord Proth is going to have to do the same. I don't know if this is the best place to do it. But it looks like he's going to be able to hold on. But he's compromised his exit to a very fast section of the track. And I don't think it's worked for him. Because now that's Carmelo down the inside. Lord Proth is going to lose the position there. He's going to have to hold on to P20 now against Paf. But he's run wide onto the grass. And he's gone straight on there. And yeah, that's really unfortunate for Lord Proth. I think didn't really give up the position in the best place. So compromised his whole run down towards Mate and Beckett's and down the hanger straight as well. Doing a bit more grass cutting is Lord Proth. Just keeping the track maintained, you know, over the winter. Well, there's not much racing going on, of course, but our season is starting very shortly, so if you haven't signed up, head to our website, thesimzone.com, and get yourself signed up as soon as possible. We're only about a week or two away from the season starting, so once the season starts you won't be able to sign up, so this is pretty much your last chance to get yourself on the grid and be amongst all these great drivers for console and PC. Andrew saying maybe Windsor just repaired suspension. I'm going to stop reading comments too fast. Maybe Windsor just repaired suspension and not body. Yes, that's a valid point actually. That's a very good point. Yeah, that is possibly what he has done. But to be honest, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. He would have been sat in the pits for a minute or so anyways. And he's come out in P25. Stefan did overtake him while he was in the barriers, so... Yeah, it's unfortunate for Windsor. He was having such a great race up until then. But it just shows one mistake can completely end your race on such a fast circuit like Silverstone. And that's why for these drivers, focus is so important. One slight lapse in concentration and you could be into the wall in a split second. Soulfly within a second now to Kenny. 7/10 is the gap, but Kenny is holding on. We've got 2 minutes left in the race, and it doesn't look like... Well, it's unlikely, in my opinion, that Soulfly is going to be able to get past, unless Kenny makes a mistake somehow. But I think Lager at this point should be trying to help Kenny hold off Soulfly. I may have spoken too soon. I think Soulfly got a really good exit there out of Stowe, and Kenny might be in some trouble now. But as long as Kenny can park it on the apex of almost every corner here, he should be okay. Our leader's on the final lap as well. Lager doesn't look like he's going to be catching up to Bibsy in this final minute of the race. They're going to have to work together, like I said, to hold off Soulfly, and looks like they are now. So Lager giving Kenny a bit of a slipstream, a bit of a tow down the straights to help him pull away from Soulfly. And the gap has increased 9 tenths from Soulfly to Kenny. So yeah, it is working here. But Kenny's slightly wide there. It's not going to help whatsoever. Soulfly's going to close in once again. Only about 4 or 5 tenths now separating these two. There we go, 6 tenths between Soulfly and Kenny. And Path is closing back up to Carmelo. So we've got a few battles going on that will be decided on this final lap. Where is the race leader though? Aesel is nearly in the 3rd sector. And it looks like Lapria has extended that gap to Bruce Harper. So Lapria looks like he's going to be able to hold on to P3. Bruce Harper 2.5 seconds back to him, but Soidim and Melvin are going to fight till the last lap here, till they cross the finish line. Melvin's got this last chance to try and get past. Where's our race leader? Aesel coming up to Woodcote and Luffield. Other way around, but yeah, Luffield and Woodcote, and here we go. He's going to round the final corner now to finish P1 in the final race of the Sim Racing Nations event. That's a tongue twister. Catches me off guard every time, but there we go. RFF finishing in P1. Masto Benz for RFF is also going to finish in P2, taking the fastest lap of the race as well. Let's see if we can catch what the fastest lap of the race was. 158.7 for Masto Benz, and Lapria for the SimZone is going to take the final podium position here in P3. Flash of the lights there from him. I'm sure he's going to be really happy with that. Good way to end off this event. Bruce Harper in P4. Melvin has got the move done, so up into P5 goes Melvin, and Soidim's going to finish in P6. Lipsy is going to cross the line in P7. Lager's going to cross the line in P8. Kenny holding on just about there to Soulfly. So Kenny's going to finish in P9 and Soulfly in P10. That's not the best camera angle. Whoever's on the cameras there should be fired. But we've still got a few cars to finish the race. So Doom is going to finish in P11. Although, has he run out of fuel? Has Doom run out of fuel here? Or is he waiting for his teammate to... they might have to give him a push. No, or they're doing a formation finish here. But Doom in P13, Morcilia P14, Butch Coco P15. Devilson is going to finish in P16. Ido in P17. And then Squid, not crossing the finish line, but he'll finish in P23, being a lap ahead there of Windsor and 2 laps ahead of Paul Moy. So there we have it. Who else do we have to finish? No, that is it. So there we have it. Aesel in P1, Masto Benz in P2, and Lapria in P3. Now, I think that still leaves us in P3 in the championship, but yeah, it was some great racing throughout. I'm sure the guys enjoyed it. Maybe we can get some interviews at the end of the race. I know it might be a bit late for some of them. Yeah, we will see if we can get some interviews here from some of our drivers. Yeah, it looks like we are going to have some interviews here. So Lapria being the first one, we'll drag him in just a moment. But yeah, I do think that leaves us in P3. The gap was 3 points between SimZone and RFF coming to this final round, and with RFF taking P1 and P2, and P4, and P7. Yeah, they've got a lot of drivers there in the top 10, so it's going to be close. I think it'll leave it down. I think it'll still be down to a few points, the difference between SimZone and RFF, but with Raceline losing a driver as well, it might be very, very close. I have no idea at the moment. We're just gonna have to wait for the standings to come out, and there are obviously going to be a few reports from some of the drivers. But here we go. Let's move Lapria over. Lapria, what a race from you, taking the final podium position here for the SimZone, and I think that separated all the RFF drivers. It would have been Aesel, Masto Benz, and Bruce Harper in the top 3, but you broke the chain, and brought it home for us. So yeah, great job, and congratulations. But how are you feeling after that?
It was a bit anxious the whole race with Bruce Harper. It's quite fast. The gap was like 7/10 for most of the race. So and then I came with some back markers, and I got a little gap, so I could have some breathing space. And of course, I was lucky in the first half of the race with some incidents, but yeah, just needed to keep it on the track, and no silly track limits like last race. So
yeah, and where did you end up qualifying? Can't remember.
P10.
P10, yeah, so 7 positions in the race. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it, but I did it.
Yeah, I think one of the Raceline drivers disconnected as well. So Darren.
Yeah,
so
that, at the start he disconnected.
That helped.
And Melvin and Lager, got crashed out.
Yeah, unfortunate. But I think Ethan from our team as well. Disconnected. So it kind of evens out then. But I think it's gonna be close between all the 3 communities at the end, especially with some of some incident reports going in. So yeah, we'll have a look. But yeah, I think you and Melvin both getting the podiums for the SimZone in this mini championship is quite good.
Yeah, and of course with the last race, this was a bit of a bounce back after finish almost last in the last race. So
yeah, a good way to end it off. But yeah, looking towards the season then for PS5, which only starts in a week or so.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. It's Kota to begin with. So we start on the 22nd, so yeah, 2 weeks pretty much. Kota to begin with. Have you done much practice at Kota? Have you driven it much? No.
I have driven it. I have the track medal, so that's the first. But I haven't driven it yet a lot, and of course I'm driving in a new car again. So
yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but we hope to see some more good results from you. And once again, congratulations for the P3.
Yeah, and I was lucky. I had a good friend of mine watching the stream, so she was like saying I did a good job, and I saw it, so it gave me a bit extra. So
yeah, some good motivation then. So yeah, I'm sure your friend will be happy as well. But thanks for doing the interview. And
yes,
I'm sure we'll see you on track shortly.
Yes, we will.
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the interview with Lapria, who took the final podium position for the SimZone. That will be it for us this evening. We hope you've had a good evening watching this stream, and we will catch you, I believe, for the first round will be for PC actually, which starts on the 20th of this month. So that will be for the Moza Racing GT3 Championship hosted by us. So yeah, we'll see you then, and have a good night.